Hey guys, it's Pastor Bruce. Churches today give their leaders many different titles. Some are called bishop, others elder, others yet pastor. But these all really speak to the same office in Paul's day, that of the pastor of the church. We're in 1 Timothy chapter 3 today, where Paul gives Timothy directives on choosing pastors and deacons for the church. He writes that the pastor should be the husband of one wife. This isn't talking about polygamy or even divorce, but about faithfulness to his wife. I've known men that have never been divorced, but I wouldn't trust them with my wife alone for 5 minutes. Paul writes that the pastor should not be given to wine. I believe that pastors should not drink at all so that we can have a good testimony in and out of the church. But the requirement is not to be given to wine. In other words, no drunk pastors. We're to not be greedy. The pastor shouldn't have the nicest house or the nicest car in all the church. The pastor needs to rule his house well. How can he be expected to lead the church if his own home is in shambles? The pastor should have a good testimony outside the church. And this is critical. It grieves me when I hear of a pastor who's been caught in some wrongdoing, maybe even to the point of having to serve jail time. And yet his church keeps him on as their leader. He is doing irreparable damage to the cause of Christ and that church's ability to minister in the community. Then we turn to deacons. Paul says that they're not to be double-tongued. In other words, they're to be trustworthy and discreet. I can tell you that the deacons in my church sometimes don't even tell me things. I love that. They're to be tested. We need to know that they're servants before they're even nominated to be deacons. You see, deacons is from the Greek word diakonos, which means through the dust. They need to prove themselves to be servants and ministers. The deacons' wives can be their best asset or their biggest hindrance. Because of that, they need to be godly women, to be an enhancement to their husband's ministry. Paul explains that all of this structure is how the church must operate, since the church is the pillar and ground of the truth. Paul concludes this chapter with a beautiful short hymn. God was manifested in the flesh, justified in the Spirit, seen by angels, preached among the Gentiles, believed on in the world, received up in glory. God bless you as you go.